Greetings, everyone. I recently had this conversation with a colleague about a popular ESL activity.
David, in my conversation class, I often give my students some conversation or discussion questions and then put them with a partner and have them talk about the questions. It seems to work best if I put the questions on separate paper and have one set for student A and one for student B, like this.
Yes, dividing the questions up for student A and student B works really well. But they don't get a form like this with both student A and B on the same page, right?
Right, they can't see each other's page. And in a lesson before I do this the first time with the class, I have them practice rejoinders or listening expressions like "I see" and "that's nice" and "oh yeah" and "really." And also they practice some follow-up questions.
Good idea.
So the activity works well, but there are three kinds of problems that I have when I do this, and I'm not sure how to fix them.
I see.
You can see the directions again. They look like this. So here's the problem. Some pairs finish discussing the questions before others are even halfway through, and I'm not sure what to do. I don't want to hurry the ones who are having a good conversation about each question and are asking a lot of follow-up questions. And I'm afraid that the ones who have finished soon will just sit there or they'll start goofing around.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I've got a solution that works really well. So I would make, your directions step one, like you have it, and then I'd add step two that looks like this. So in step two, after you finish all your questions, while you wait for the other students to finish, you can do one of these. So they have a choice. They can do A, change parts with your partner. So student A will be student B and student B will be student A and do the exercise again. Or they can do B, which talk to your partner about any topic that you want.
Oh, phew, that step will really stop the stress I always felt when I noticed some students come to the end of their questions. Now, the next kind of problem is about the student A, student B questions. I wrote my questions 6 months or so ago, and I think they're pretty good. So every term after students use the student A and student B forms, I pick them up so that I can use them again the next term. And that saves me a lot of time. But I wonder if I should revise the questions more often to sort of modernize them so that they would be more stimulating for each new group of students.
Right. So there is a way that you can customize the questions each term, but still reuse the same questions that so that you can save yourself time. In other words, so you don't have to type out new student A, student B forms each term with some new questions. So this is what you can do.
Okay, I'm ready.
So we talked about step one and two. Now I've added a step three and four. Here is step three. So these are the directions. With your partner, you will write some questions about any topic that you want. Your questions and your partner's questions will be the same. You both should have a copy of the questions.
I see. So the two partners do not write their own questions, but instead they write the same ones, right?
Exactly. It's much easier for students to come up with some questions when they do this together. And it seems a lot more fun. For example, they are more apt to write questions about their classmates, like which of our classmates would be a good movie actor? Or did you know Allie will get married this summer? These are a lot of fun to talk about, and they are probably ones that the teacher wouldn't have thought of. And of course, the questions can be not only more personalized about their classmates, but also about current events or what is happening at that time on campus. If the teachers wanted their questions to be most up to date, they would have to revise them each term. But like you said, you'd rather be able to reuse yours to save time. So this step 3 is, kind of a win-win. You can reuse yours and the students can still talk about current events.
Great. This will really save me a lot of time and even paper, since I can pick them up, the student A and student B pages at the end of the activity and reuse them the next term.
You got it. So, if you feel pretty confident in your students' ability to write good questions, you can just go directly to step 4 during the class. Or what I usually do is I pick up the questions and then after class, I quickly look them over to make sure they are understandable and appropriate. Sometimes students might write questions that could be kind of embarrassing to other students. So the next class we do step 4. And here's the direction, step 4. You will get a new partner and your step 3 partner will get a different new partner. You will ask your partner the questions on your paper and answer your new partner's questions. You should, again, use rejoinders and ask follow-up questions. So step 4 is usually a lot of fun. The noise level often rises as their interest level increases, and there often is a lot of laughing.
I can just imagine that. I do have one more concern when I've done this activity. As I mentioned, in step 2, some pairs of students finish earlier than the others. And I think a reason is that even though I tell them in the directions to use rejoinders and follow-up questions, some of them tend to forget to do that.
Yeah, and that's too bad since those are conversation techniques that we'd like them to practice during this activity. So, before getting with a partner and starting step 1, I always do a modeling exercise showing them how they should do it. So, one type is a simple fill in the blanks. Students choose words from the box to fill in the demonstration dialogue, like this. Then, so each student individually will fill in the blanks. And then when everybody is pretty much finished, then they, with a partner, they'll read the dialogue. So, it would be A starts with a question, what time did you go to bed last night? And then B answer says at midnight. And then A has to have a rejoinder and a follow-up. So they choose from the bold words there. And of course, they would say, oh, really? That's late. And then choose from the box again, or from the bold again, and say, what were you doing until midnight? And then the sample continues. And, this process takes a minute or two to do. Then after they do this, I might briefly point out again to them, say, now notice there's rejoinders, we're using rejoinders and follow-up questions.
Okay, now I'm really excited to do this activity with my new students. Oh, and like I mentioned earlier, when I start a new term, I always have the students do rejoinders and follow-up question exercises, and we use your free handouts. Maybe you could include some links to those in the notes below.
A good idea. I'll be sure to do that. In addition, in the notes below, I'll include a link where viewers can go to read about this activity and they can see these complete directions. And I'll also include links to other videos and about how to do other popular ESL activities better. Thank you, everyone, for watching.